art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
All right. Welcome back.
Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
Okay, welcome. It's Tuesday night, the Tuesday night after dinner show with Jake and Steve, the B team, here for the Misfit Nation. Mr. Misfit Nation isn't here tonight. For some reason, he left us in charge. And Jake's going to start talking now about Mr. Sam Asra.
Thank you, Stephen. Our guest tonight is Mr. Sam Asra. He is a dedicated fatherhood coach. He's got 5 years of experience of helping fathers navigate the relationships and deepen their relationships with their children. He has experience with this, and without any further ado, let's welcome Mr. Sam Asra to the show.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Sam.
Good to meet you guys.
Good evening. How are you?
Get the layout here.
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I gave about a 1-minute intro talking about you. Won't you go ahead and let the viewers give them a short bio yourself and how you ended up here today?
Of course. Yeah, as Jake already mentioned, my name is Sam Asra. I'm a relationship expert, and I specialize in helping fathers reconnect with their children. And it really stemmed from a personal story of mine. Unfortunately, I grew up in a very strict and unfortunately abusive household. My parents were from the Middle East, and they immigrated here and then had me. And a lot of the culture was very, very strict. Not everyone is like that, but it was a severe version of how I was brought up. And leading up to that, to the basically break off where I went out on my own, there were a lot of things I wish I had as far as a relationship with my father. And when it came time to possibly reconcile, there were things that I felt he should have done that now I see patterns when I work with fathers and children. Um, and that inspired me to help fathers because I want fathers to have a relationship with their children. I want children to not be estranged and fathers not able to have that relationship. So I created Fathers Connect. It's a group coaching program, and it's also a community where fathers can feel like they can be vulnerable and they can open and tell us about their situation and share insights and lessons and share their story and share the struggle of reconnecting with their children. And I feel like fathers don't get a space for this. So that's what inspired me to do that. And we've helped already hundreds of fathers reconnect with their children and really help them understand what is missing as far as really deepening that relationship. So, quite a bio, but love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I can speak from experience on this. I've been divorced twice, and my relationships with my children have not always been the best. I could have probably used you about 10 or 15 years ago, but I think this is great. What are some things that you tell either young fathers or maybe fathers that haven't had contact with their kids for, let's say, 5 or 6 years, and they want to gain that contact back?
Well, it really just depends on your situation. So, for let's say a father who hasn't had contact with their children in 5 or 6 years, um, we show you exactly how to reach out and write what we call the ultimate apology. But in order for you to even get there, we talk about how you take ownership and how you take responsibility and how you take matters into your own hands and really look for things that you can do within your control and what you can change. And the biggest thing you can change is yourself. And that's what we really try and drive home, because as long as things remain the same, the result will remain the same. If you remain the same way and refuse to change, then the result you're getting will remain the same. So it's mostly mental work that goes on, and it's not about who's to blame, who's at fault, but it's really about what is going to get you the result you're looking for, and are you willing to do the mental work it takes to reach that, which is a great relationship with your kids. It's not easy to do that if you've been struggling. So big thing around taking ownership. Um, and a struggle of fathers is, a lot of fathers, especially in the traditional sense, they're raised to provide and protect, not really to nurture and be emotionally intelligent. That's why oftentimes mothers have a deeper relationship with their child, because they're traditionally raised through motherhood, through their own mothers and other female figures, how to nurture, how to connect with their children. And oftentimes it ends up having a deeper relationship with the child. Plus, if the father is oftentimes away for many hours of the day, working, for example, in traditional settings, it can take an impact of how close you can be with your child. So yeah, so I'll drop a few gems. So one thing um, is when you reach out, you should reach out and use technology and reach out often. I feel like even though we're away, or we might be, let's say you're divorced, you're on the opposite side of the country and you only see your kid 2 months out of the year or 1 month out of the year, you can still be present in their life using technology. You would be surprised how simple it is to take 15 seconds and type a text saying, "Good morning, son. Hope you have a great day at school." Or remembering that their baseball game is on Saturday and saying, "Good luck, son. I know you're going to do great. Let me know how it goes." And you do a phone call after that. There's like such simple ways that we can really feel like we are connecting with their child, and it starts with taking an interest in the child's life.
Okay. Hey, that's some good info right there. I try to do that. And yeah, sometimes I get an answer right away. Sometimes I might get an answer 2 or 3 days from now, but the communication is there.
Right.
Now, with the difference in ages between fathers and son, or fathers and children, what is how do fathers keep up with, I guess, the trends that are with young people today?
The
how do fathers?
terminology is,
Yeah, exactly, Stephen. Thank you. That's the word I was looking
that's
for.
the word you're looking for.
How do you keep up with the lingo of the children because they seem to be
Correct.
running, right?
Yes.
I would recommend joining some kind of masterminds, because then when you join a mastermind group whose mission is to keep you up to date on those things, there's special masterminds that specialize in different areas, whether it's an industry, real estate, the latest real estate stuff, or your latest profession. I'm sure, 100% sure, there are things that also center around newest technology that's out, the newest social media that's out, and the newest thing with kids, and what they're doing, what they're on, what social media platform is hot. And so I'm sure I don't currently have one as far as fathers connect. I do intend on making a mastermind at some point, but I would recommend something like that you could join once a month, once every 2 months. They have a little seminar of what's new, what's happening in the world, and that keeps you up to date. Another thing that might be deceptively simple is asking your child, hey, like, I
Okay.
noticed that I've heard of this new TikTok. Like, can you show me? Can I download it? Can I make an account? How do I use it? Can you follow me? Add me. I'd love to share you videos. Like, really take an interest instead of saying, it looks like a dumb application. I mean, something has captured the attention of your child. So if you want to connect with them, how cool would it be to say, Dad is playing that video game with me? Dad is on that social media platform with me. Now some kids are like, ew, I don't want dad with me, but you could say some kids would be delighted to play a video game with you, and it would be so cool. Your dad plays video games with you. I know you have work, but you could take an hour on Saturday, Sunday to to play with your
Yeah,
son
of
or
course.
daughter, right? So
It
that
could also be easy with Instagram and TikTok sharing memes you see and videos you see with
exactly.
your kids. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Say you let's say you both like a sport, or you both like an art, or you both like music, and you could just share those things with them, and send it through them, and it could be a way you could interact. So absolutely.
Okay. Hey, good stuff. Good stuff. Uh, so you have a website, or do you have a website that
I do. Yes.
people can reach you on? I I did scan over it a little bit. I didn't get too deep into it, but tell folks how we can get in touch with you, and just say, I'm out here, I'm having problems connecting with my children. I need help. How do I get in touch with you? And when I get in touch with you, what's going to happen?
So my website is fathersconnect.co. You can Google Fathers Connect as well, but fathersconnect.co, and that website, will have all the information about what I do, who I am, the program, and ways you can get in touch with me. You can book a call, and what that'll do is it'll send you a questionnaire, just so you can put in some of your information, your situation, and see if we can help you. And then we book a call to talk strategy and help. So
Okay. I've put up put up the website, how folks can get in touch with you. Just we've went over how to reconnect, or when you reconnect, and how to not place blame and accept blame if you have blame to accept. Is there any other tips that you want to give us?
Tons. I mean, ask me a question, I can help you, so I can help you with what's anything you would like.
Okay, say you have a child that only calls you, only reaches out to you when they want money. Because that seems to happen in I hear that from a lot of guys. Yeah, I hear from my kid all the time. Every time he needs $500.
Only when he needs something.
Yes.
I encourage those fathers to develop a relationship with them such that you create a safe space for them emotionally. So you're not there just for their bank account. You're there because I need to talk. I need someone to talk to, or I want advice, or I want to tell dad about my day, right? When you're able to like we said earlier, take an interest in your child's life. When your child calls you and says, "Hey, dad, you can have $500 for this item, that item," I would say I would love to talk about that, but first, like, how's your day? What did you do? Like, how's school? And really go specific. And if you need to, take notes. Like, who are the teachers' names? Who are friends' names? Oftentimes, mom knows those things. That mom knows when practice is. Mom knows when games are. That mom takes child to those games, etc., and knows who's friends with who, how often they hang out. Why doesn't dad know these things, right? If the child feels like, yes, like, oh yeah, Stanley is great. We were actually just talking the other day and this and that, we were doing other things. I actually have a question. What do you think about this? It leads to those kinds of questions. And then when child feels like I can talk to dad, we can have deep, regular discussion, they won't just come to you for money. But right now, that's all the benefit, quote unquote, or relationship right now that has been built, unfortunately. I don't like it any better than anyone else, but right now they see it as that. They don't see any
just a bank account. Yeah.
Right, and that's the worst feeling, because that's very demeaning almost. You feel like a ATM machine. And that's not what you are. You are a human being. So I encourage you to initiate that. That's the hard work part. Yes, it could be them, could be a lot of different factors, but if you can control yourself as far as initiating the conversation and answering questions, and just say, or you could even make it a little game. Like, look, I'll buy you this, but you need to come out with it. I want a date first. Let's go on date. Let's say it's your daughter. I want a father-daughter date night. Come with me. Let's go to the movies. Let's go wherever, and I'll get you the item. Right? You could make it like that. So rope it in as far as developing relationship with your child. So that's what I would suggest as a first step.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, how does the dynamic really change much reconnecting with, and I suppose right now we're talking about, let's say, kids high school age and under.
Mm-hmm.
What about connecting with adult children?
Absolutely. Dynamic changes. Why? One, because the older they get, the more people they get exposed to, the more factors they have in their life. They might have partner, they may have kids, they may have develop other friendships after your influence, and the high school friends could be other friends now, good or bad influences. There's a lot of factors that could either help your case or hurt your case. If spouse of child hates you or doesn't like you, that could make it harder. Or or maybe I've seen this a lot where let's say dad is not on good terms with child, but dad has grandchildren from that child and wants to see the grandchildren, and child says absolutely not, because there's a disconnect between child and father. I've seen that as well, so it can definitely complicate things. And generally, the more time that goes with estrangement, the harder it is to reconnect. Generally, I wouldn't say it's a hard fast rule, but generally it is harder the longer you wait and the longer you go without reconciling. So that dynamics certainly changes, and how you approach it certainly changes. If there's a big influence in their life, such as a partner, you have to treat them just as you treat your son, which is like you have to respect both. You can't skip over their spouse in order to
Yeah.
get to them. You cannot. You have to take both of them together as a group in order for you to approach them. As much as you might disagree with their spouse on certain things.
And that's even scarier
Right.
getting into that relationship than meeting the husband, because you don't know what's going to happen there either.
Right. And it could be imagine you're a father and you have a daughter, then like you're saying, like her husband, now you never, like this becomes a man to man thing. Like now this becomes like who is this guy, like trying to tell me what to do or how to, talk to my daughter or this and that. Like there could be some serious, like masculine, tension going on, right? This thing of father being protective, but
It's not just being protective. Sometimes it's just getting to know them,
that's
because
right.
I run into that.
Right.
You're
And
meeting them for
also,
the first time, and
exactly. And unfortunately, your daughter, not unfortunately, but your daughter has a say. And so even if you don't like this guy, it's like if she's determined to keep him, there needs to be another avenue in which we connect, right? Like,
right.
because you cannot force them apart. You can't just, you can't physically, I mean, without illegally doing something, but you get it.
Well,
I had to figure that one out.
Uh,
My daughter was with a guy that I really didn't care for, and
right.
instead of telling her that, I let her figure it out on her own, and finally she kicked him out. And so that was a
Well,
proud dad moment.
Here's the thing, though. It's painful watching.
Oh,
I'm not going
yes.
to take it away from you and say it was easy and just let her do it. And it's painful watching. I'm sure it is.
Yes.
You want to relieve that, and you want to also, remove it before it hurts her too much. And I understand. So it is hard to let them kind of lead. Now, the thing is, if you build relationship with your daughter, for example, the more you do that, the deeper you do that, and we teach that in the course, the more influence you will have on her life as far as making decisions. The more she will take your opinion and weight, like it'll be more weighted because I'm close to dad. What dad says matters. But when we don't have a close relationship, what dad says isn't as much weighted as it should be. Like when we have proven that you can trust dad is here. And even though we might say that, we haven't exactly developed that relationship sometimes in order to really make her, in this case, feel that way. So it starts with how close is the relationship before it gets to how can I effectively guide my son or daughter. We need to first, if they won't listen to you, I would first ask yourself, how close are we? Like, how strong is this relationship? Because oftentimes it's not as strong as it should be in order to make like bold like decisions or like saying, I really strongly recommend you not doing that or not going with him or not dating him or her, right? To have weight for that needs to have a strong relationship. That's why like when mothers are close with their daughters, that influence is very strong, to and be able to sway more effectively than when you don't have a relationship with your parent. I don't mean mother, but any parent. I say mother instinctively. So, but yeah.
Okay.
I hope that helps. Yeah.
Hey,
does.
it helps me. I hope it helps our other folks out there listening.
And thank you for. Did you guys serve? Is this?
Yes.
Thank you
Well,
for your
the host,
service.
Rich, he serves. Not
Yeah.
me.
The
My
The
brother.
host. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, thank
Rich.
you for your service. I know there was a lot of veteran related things, in the podcast. So I just want to give
yeah,
my thanks.
and I think that's one reason it's real good that you're here, because there's a lot of broken homes in the military, and there's a lot of times in the military, yeah, dad's home, but he's really not there. And this is some great information. I know I learned a lot. And what I ask of you now is, can you pick your top 3 things just going out the gate, and I know you probably covered them already, but I think they'd be worth hitting again. Your top 3 things that you would tell a man that wants to connect better with his son or daughter, or all his children.
Sure. I can drop 3 specific things. 1, take an interest in your child. Just like you, here's a gem. I've been dropping gem. Well, I'll drop another one. You know how business, you know how men, this is number 1. Men, you know how a lot of men in business, when they network, they go and they take notes on everyone they meet. I met Joe's, whoever, and here's what they work, and here's what they do, and here's their birthday, here's their favorite color, favorite wine, favorite whatever. Do the same thing with your child. Make a profile. Here's my son, here's my daughter, here's my whatever, right? Here's their favorite sport, their favorite candy, their 3 friends they hang out with the most, their math teacher, their this and that. So next time you you have a conversation, you can ask those questions. It's not how's school, it's how's Mrs. Mary, how's Stanley, how's Paul, did you guys play basketball like you said you usually do every Friday? Now we get into deeper conversation already. So number 1, take an interest and specifically create like a profile for them on your phone or whatever, and just take notes as you get to know them. You'd be surprised of how deep you can get. I feel like when it stays surface level, you never get past that. So that's number 1. Number 2, and I know this is hard and this is very general. We do go into it with the course, but really taking ownership is the only way things change. Because if you can't reliably change anyway, because if you can't control someone else telepathically or whatever, it's you that needs to change in order for things to change. As long as things remain the same, you will get the same result. So I encourage you to look inside. Ask yourself, what can I do? If they're not reaching out, okay, well, what can I do to get into contact? If they always ask me for money every time they reach out, well, what can I do to change that? What can I do to make it not so much about money? Maybe I'll do some research if you're not sure. What have other fathers have done? You obviously come to me, come to the website, but even your own research, ask ChatGPT, right? How do I do this? What's the way? And there's no shame in it. There really isn't. It's just I've been brought up this way as well, where it's like we are designed to protect and provide for our families, and so the emotional thing may not come first for us. A lot of us. There's no shame in that. And then the third thing I would say is also have patience for yourself. Forgive yourself, even if things didn't go 100% right, even if things, didn't go the way it wanted to. If you're looking to improve, I think that's something that's like, you can forgive yourself if you're really trying to change and improve, not just saying it. Even if, you said something you weren't supposed to say, you raised your voice when you shouldn't have, those kinds of things. You got aggressive when you shouldn't have gotten aggressive. You can forgive yourself as long as you take ownership, which was tip 2. So those are my three things as I leave.
All right.
Well, I don't know how old Jake's children are that he's talking about, but mine's 31, and it's more of getting to better know and being more in her life. It's not that things were bad and things are trying to get better. It wasn't there.
Right.
For the first 16 years, I didn't even know her. And now she's 31, and we're still working on the get to know you and more about you and trust issues and stuff like that.
I encourage you to keep going.
And that's every day.
Trust is built, and I very much congratulate you and applaud you for continuing that work. It's important to her. I think
it's not that it was a bad thing. It's not it was just not there. And now moving in, getting to know and learning more about, and that's what it's kind of a struggle in some aspects, but it works. It's just something you have to keep working on.
Amazing.
And your information was very helpful on a lot of it too. And
Yeah, happy to help.
Yes, it was. Before we get off here, Sam, I'm going to stick up there again how folks can get in touch with you, and anybody out there listening right now, you heard what Sam said. If you need more information, hit him up on his website. Remember, our children are our legacy. And if we don't make our connection with them and have an influence over their lives, somebody else will. And so let's get out there and let's connect with our kids. Sam, thank you so much for being on here tonight. I truly enjoyed this. And
you got a lot of great information out of him. I appreciate that.
Yes, I think everybody did. We were both rookies at this. You were a great first interview.
You were very helpful.
Yeah, you really helped us out, and we really appreciate that. And you have a great evening, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Stephen, let's cut this off of here. Close this out.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.